Today I have a backplate and wing that I just got rigged up. Now this one here has been through a couple of seasons of divers, and the webbing had started to get a little bit worn out. So I got some new webbing for it, and I just went through the process of getting it all set up. Took a little bit of video, so I'm gonna step you through that as we go through. This is the finished product, this is what we're going for. So come along, let me show you real quick how I went through rethreading all this. I kind of backed it all the way up to ground zero as if I had just got a brand new rig and built it all from scratch, so you can see everything that goes into it and just how simple it would be to go through and make changes and customize it to yourself.
So I've laid out on the table what we're going to be using. This is all from the Hog Total Buoyancy Control System. Everything from the wing, the back plate, weight pockets, all these little accessories over here on the side. And this all just comes in the kit when you order it. They've got a couple of different options, but this is fairly straightforward to order it. It's a great price for a good quality kit, so they've been good to me. Pretty much all of my rigs are this now. But you can use whatever brand. They're very interchangeable. You can even pause this video and count up what there is there and just go buy those individual pieces yourself if you'd like. But this is definitely going to make things a lot easier to kind of have your base rig. So this is what comes with it. And then over here, this is a couple of things that I've added. I've got a couple of tri-glides that are going to secure the webbing to the plate just a little better. I'll show you how. I've got a D-ring there that's going to be for my pony bottle, along with my bungee and some accessory cord, and then some tools to make life a little easier if I need. So starting out here, set the back plate down. Pull out your main bit of webbing, find that grommet in the middle. If you've got these pre-built packs, they got 15 feet of webbing and a grommet in the middle. We're going to flip over to the back side of the plate, find the middle hole up here at the top, line the grommet up, and then feed that strap through the lower diagonal slot right there at the shoulder. Try to make sure that you keep any twists and stuff out of that. Do the same on both sides so you see how that lays real nice and pretty, trying to keep that grommet lined up. You can put one of those little grommet bolts in if you want, but it's not really necessary at this stage yet. This is a shoulder strap protector. So you run your webbing into this little piece of nylon here and thread it all the way up, and it's going to help keep from abrading through your strap as that webbing gets slid across that hard plate. Now people always want to put this into the actual slots themselves. It's not for protecting the slot, it's for protecting where the strap runs over the top of the plate. So you can see here where it is fed through that top slot just a little bit, just enough to keep it from sliding around, but that edge right there is what it's really protecting, and we need to make sure that that's what it's overlapped. The other slots, you see where it doesn't come out the back there, it's just in them enough to kind of keep it from sliding on down the shoulder or something like that. So that's a good fit, perfect. Going to do the same on the other side, make sure that that comes out pretty even on both sides, and we're going to continue that trend all the way down. We want a pretty nice symmetrical rig. So I flipped these over, and now you can start seeing where that shoulder strap's on a back plate. It's starting to make a little bit of sense here. So now that we've got a nice little base going, we're going to start putting accessories onto this webbing and work our way down. I'm just going to stick with one side and then move to the other when I'm done. So this piece right here is what holds the corrugated inflator hose. This is fairly new. You can also just use a piece of bungee that kind of goes through the same tri-glide as the D-ring, but these are nice. This goes on first, slides all the way up to where you'd want it, and then we start worrying about our D-rings. I'm only putting one D-ring on each shoulder. Again, you can customize this how you want, so if you wanted to put a couple of them on, you could. But you'll notice here when I put this tri-glide on and slide it up, I slide that tri-glide all the way to where I'm going to want it to be. Then I put the D-ring on, and then I can thread the other side of the tri-glide. If you try to put everything on down at the bottom of the strap and then work it all up, you're creating so much extra hassle for yourself. This just makes it so much easier. So I've got that fitted, nice little bent D-ring right there on the shoulder. We can make micro adjustments to that later, but it's generally where we're going to end up wanting it. So now I've got some elastic retaining loops that are for accessories, particularly dive lights is what I use them for. So we slide that up. That just kind of holds that nice and tight against us when we're diving. And we always do 2 of these or more because they will lose their stretch, or if you're using like rubber ones, they'll dry rot and break. And it's so much easier just to move to the next one. Now I lay that flat and I rotate it outwards, and that gets me in line to feed it through the bottom of the plate. So I'm going to feed it through the slot that's closest to the midline first, and then, so you can see where it would go out that other slot, but before I do, I'm going to take that extra tri-glide that I showed you at the beginning that's not part of the kit, I just like it, and I'm going to feed that webbing through the tri-glide, again putting the tri-glide mostly where I want it, then feeding the other side, and then going ahead and tucking that down through the plate. And that just locks that in place a lot nicer so it doesn't kind of get pulled through when you've got a heavy tank on your back or lots of weights in your pockets or something like that. So now we're going to start feeding the extra stuff onto the waist strap. So you can kind of picture how the belly of the diver would be facing towards me as it is right now. So I need to make sure everything is oriented for that direction. I've got a ditchable weight pocket, and then here this tri-glide with a D-ring on it. So for the DIR system, just a single D-ring on each shoulder, a D-ring on this left waist. I go ahead and put a D-ring on the right waist. We'll see that here in a second. But that's all that's necessary. But you can add more onto it. And you'll see here in a second that I also add on this D-ring that's for my pony bottle. So here we go. That's all nice and lined up. Here's the pony bottle D-ring I'm putting on now. I will make sure that I put a link to my other video all about how I use the pony bottle. This is a great little side note to make on that. And I put them on all of my rigs because it doesn't cost much. Literally, it's like $1.50 to add this to it. And then I'm ready to go for advanced diving if I want. And then here's the waist buckle. Put that on. Make sure it's about the length you want. And that kind of has that side all set up. So now we're going to do the other side, and for the most part the other side's going to match. You can see the similarities there. It does not have the pony bottle D-ring or the waist buckle on the right side, but on the diver's right. But otherwise it's the same, and we're trying to make them the same adjustments and fairly uniform. So with it laid out, you can kind of see how this is all going to go together. Let's flip it back over and add our crotch strap. This is the last strap that needs added. They do add a lot of security to the rig, just keeping things in place when you're at the surface especially, but they're also beneficial underwater. No, you don't need them to dive, but people get scared of them because they're in a very sensitive area, but if they're adjusted properly, they really do have a good benefit. So I super encourage you to go ahead and try putting these on and just seeing how it works for you. But I've got that adjusted so the D-rings are going to be on the outside of the strap when it's put up around the diver. And everything is pretty close to the measurement that I'm going to want, I'm pretty sure here. But there's a D-ring that comes out by the butt and one that comes out at the front once it's looped up around. And now I'm also going to go ahead and finish putting on my pony bottle accessories. Here's that bungee that goes through the top hole on the left side of the plate. And then I attach it to the shoulder strap just with some accessory cord. Again, there's a whole video on that. Please look at that. But get that cleaned up. I'm putting it on all of my rigs because even my open water dive students that don't need a pony bottle won't even notice it's there. It's not in the way. And then if somebody does need it, I don't have to switch them out to a different rig or make big alterations. We're good to go. So now we're looking at the attachment points for the wing. Let's flip it over, get things kind of laid out. You can see that the harness and accessories are all completely good to go. So that wing is the next step. Now I've got the 23-pound, more travel-friendly wing. You can get bigger wings. You can even get different brands of wings or doubles wings, whatever you need. But we're going to attach it with a book screw. So you can see I feed the one side of that book screw. It's going to go through the plate, through the grommet on the webbing, and through the grommet on the wing. In this particular case, I'm using the middle of the 3 grommets on the wing just to keep things consistent. But you can move that wing up or down depending on your needs. I also find that adding a little bit of blue Loctite to those screws makes a big difference in keeping them from kind of backing out over time. So some of these come with a little rubber O-ring in the screw that's supposed to help keep it from backing out, but even that just doesn't give it quite that consistent hold that the blue Loctite does. But I've got it hand threaded in with some blue Loctite on it, and then I'm going to go ahead and tighten that the rest of the way down with a couple of tools. That really locks that into place, but it's still going to be something that I can undo with tools later if I want to switch out this wing or make adjustments to how high it is. Do the same thing on the bottom, add that book screw down there, and tighten it. You know, got it hand tight there, and then go ahead and use tools and get it the rest of the way tight. So once those are in place, the last thing we have to worry about putting on this is going to be our cam bands. So if you've got doubles and you're going to be bolting things to your wing, you don't need this. But for a single tank, this wing works really well for a single tank, and it's even got the little sewn in bars that kind of work as your single tank adapter. But you can see here I've got that strap. I feed it not only through the wing, but I feed it through the plate as well. You can see a little bit closer there. Pull it all the way through and then feed it back out the other side. Again, out the plate, out the wing. And make sure everything's lined up where you want. Now, to feed these, there's kind of a secret handshake to get this rethreaded. You click that all the way backwards and then feed this strap up through the middle hole, middle slot. So I have to kind of pull it through and redirect it to make that turn, but I come up through the middle slot, and then I'm going to just turn and go right back down through that first slot, or the one towards the base of this little cam. That's all you've got to do. It's so confusing until you get it in the right orientation, but once you've got that right orientation, it's very simple to thread. Once you get it on the tank and cam it over, then you would feed it back through that third slot that you can see in this little portion that it's fed. Then we get that bottom cam band on as well, and that concludes rigging this up. Once you've got everything together, all there's left to do is just kind of micro adjust it, make sure that the straps are the right lengths, the D-rings are where you want them. I got another video, I'll make sure that that link is attached on how to get it properly adjusted. But enjoy it like all these guys are, and hope this helps. You guys have a great day.